Well, ladies and gentlemen, as you listen to Air Show Hero, this is Ace Maker Air Shows, the T-33 Shooting Star, Mr. Greg Collier, call sign Wired. Now, he's flying the T-33 Shooting Star, the T-Bird, produced by Lockheed and made its first flight back in 1948. I want you to keep your eye on him as he circles back around. The T-33 was developed from the Lockheed P-80 or F-80, and it was used by the United States Air Force and the Navy. We'll talk a lot more about how it got built, how fast it was built, but just watch as Greg comes back and forth here. Look to the right, smoke on. Great opportunity to get a good picture of this historic aircraft right here. Now the T-33 continues to circle behind you, ladies and gentlemen. Greg has the smoke on. He'll approach from over your right shoulder. Watch it. Look for the distinctive wing configuration and layout of this beautiful and historic aircraft. You'll notice the tip tanks at the end of the wings help extend the range of this early jet aircraft, jet trainer. As Greg pulls back on the stick and goes vertical, begins to roll to the left, you can see the canopy configuration and the seating configuration for two pilots. Much like you saw in the T-6 Texan II earlier, the instructor and the student sit one behind each other in the T-33. You'll notice two inlets under the chin or the nose of the aircraft. Those are the air intakes for a single engine. You see that single engine producing smoke today with the addition of smoke oil. Greg continues to show you the aerobatic capabilities of amazing aircraft. We talked about that first flight in 1948. From the initial design, consultation, paperwork, decision to build the airplane, the prototype flew in just 123 days off of the dry lake bed in Edwards. One of the principal leading designers in this aircraft was none other than Kelly Johnson himself, later associated with Lockheed and the Skunk Works, and all of the amazing aircraft that we know have come from the Skunk Works and the brilliant mind of Kelly Johnson. Watch here as Greg dives back in the Cuban 8 maneuver, this beautiful T-33 Shooting Star. Now as Wired climbs that aircraft high into the sky as you look up and to the left. On November 8, 1950, the very first jet versus jet aerial combat took place between a P-80, the related aircraft, and a MiG-15 in an area in northwest Korea, later known as MiG Alley. Lieutenant Russell Brown, piloting his Shooting Star with the 16th Fighter Squadron, outmaneuvered two attacking MiG-15s. He tacked onto the tail of one and poured 50 caliber fire until the MiG exploded. It was the first of 827 MiGs to be shot down in Korea and the first jet versus jet victory ever. Well, you see that lineage in this aircraft as Greg dives in from the right. Watch closely here, ladies and gentlemen, as Greg brings the aircraft in nice and low. Watch here. He's got the smoke on. He's got the speed up. Ladies and gentlemen, this is historic. Get your cameras out right here. So Greg is going to show you all the capabilities of this amazing aircraft as he rolls to the left there and turns around. He'll come back from your left to your right. He showed you what it looked like in a high-speed pass. This aircraft was a phenomenal trainer. It trained generations of pilots for our Air Force. Again, it flew right out of Randolph right here. Now watch as he comes back from your left to your right. What he'll show you here is the slow roll capability of this highly maneuverable jet aircraft. As Greg turns around high and to the right, watch he'll run into a maneuver he calls the Lazy Eight. Watch his smoke trace the shape of a figure eight in the sky as he comes around. Now, Greg Collier is the founder and owner of Acemaker Aviation. He's a native Californian, and he took his first flight at the age of 7. He's been hooked on aviation ever since, and he's been flying for over 4 decades after earning his license in 1982 while he was serving in the U.S. Army. After leaving the service, he worked keeping the skies safe for 27 years with the Federal Aviation Administration as an air traffic controller at Oakland Center in California. His passion for flying never left him as he continued to fly as a hobby and an occasional air show, flying the Beech T-34 Mentor. He eventually acquired a Soviet Bloc L-29 Delphine jet in 2003. Then he eventually was able to upgrade that to an L-39, the newer version. But one of his favorite jets as a kid was the Lockheed Shooting Star, America's first operational jet fighter and trainer. Now watch as Greg circles around high and to your left, brings that beautiful jet back here to show center, and you'll see he eventually acquired a T-33. He now owns 3 of them, campaigns them around the world, frankly, but especially across the United States. Watch here, Acemaker Air Shows from the right. Greg showing you the controllability of this wonderful aircraft with the double aileron pass right there. Double aileron roll pass, excuse me. Now, as he turns around to the left, he's going to make his way back here to show center, and he's going to show you how this aircraft can fly upside down. Ladies and gentlemen, from the left, the T-33 Shooting Star and the inverted pass. Now, in addition to air shows, Greg instructs at Edwards Air Force Base in the Test Pilot School and the United States Navy Test Pilot School at NAS Patuxent River, Maryland. He's a multi-time Ironman and spends his free time when not around airplanes cycling and enjoying motorcycles. Now, Greg wants to show you something special right here, ladies and gentlemen, as he slows the aircraft down in that descent to the right as you're facing the runway. He's going to slow the aircraft down. He's going to configure it for what it would look like to land. Now, I want you to look really closely. You see the airspeed has slowed significantly. Greg will have extended the landing gear. He will have brought the flaps down. He'll configure the aircraft just like what it looks like as it sets up to land, continuing to show you more of how the aircraft has incredible controllability and maneuverability. Ladies and gentlemen, from the right, this is Acemaker Air Shows and the Dirty Pass. Come on, Randolph. How about that? That is absolutely amazing. Everything this airplane could do, Greg is showing you here today. Now watch as he circles around. He's going to do another figure eight, horizontal figure eight, but this will be a max performance figure eight. Now, as he's bringing the throttles up, he's cleaned the aircraft up, flaps are up, gears are up, it's picking up airspeed right here. He's pushing the throttle forward. Remember, this is a jet designed at the end of World War II, our first primary jet trainer. And watch this as Greg shows you what an amazing platform built by the Lockheed Corporation this is. Just imagine, ladies and gentlemen, if you look at this beautiful Texas sky, that polished T-33 in markings just as it would have had in its Air Force service for the United States Air Force. This aircraft could very well have flown in these very skies over Randolph Air Force Base looking just like that. We take you back to the 1960s with this primary jet trainer, the Lockheed T-33 Shooting Star. Now, I want you to watch as Greg turns around. He's going to come back around and show you the 4-point hesitation roll. But while he circles around, he would like to thank Concord Batteries, Strong Parachutes, Wheeland Lighting, and Jim and Airtronics for their continued support for Ace Maker Aviation. But folks, keep your eyes on the aircraft right here. As he dives in, he converts that altitude to airspeed. He lines up with the runway. He begins to level out. The airspeed is building. He'll pull back on the stick slightly and begin to roll the aircraft. Let's count them. 1, 2, 3, and 4. The 4-point hesitation roll. Come on, ladies and gentlemen. How cool is that? Greg showing you everything that this wonderful aircraft can do. Well, folks, if you haven't got your camera out yet, and if you still have film left in your phone, this would be the opportunity to get it out. Your best photo opportunity of this historic jet. Coming from your left to your right, this is Ace Maker Aviation T-33 Shooting Star and the Photo Pass. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that wraps it up for Ace Maker Aviation and Greg Collier's call sign Wired and his performance here today. He's going to circle back around the land. But ladies and gentlemen, how about a huge round of applause for Ace Maker and Greg Collier. Thank you so much. Well, folks, you've been here just a little bit, but it's time to put on some more sunscreen, trying to stay hydrated. If you haven't done that recently, let me encourage you to do that. We couldn't do any of this without the help of our amazing sponsors, Methodist Northeast Healthcare, Randolph Brooks Federal Credit Union, Silver Eagle Beverages, T-Mobile, Boeing, and CPS Energy. Without their help, we couldn't make any of this happen, and we are so excited to have all of those sponsors with us to help pull together this amazing air show. Now, as Greg continues to circle around, he's still got the smoke on. He's going to let you watch that jet now configured back in the dirty configuration as he lines up to land. We're going to take you to another historic jet. Now, I told you a little bit about this earlier. We talked about a Russian-made aircraft that is part of our American history. It was not only a nemesis of ours in Southeast Asia, primary opponent of aircraft like the F-4 Phantom II, the A-7 Corsair, the A-4 Skyhawk, the F-105 Thunder Chief. This aircraft that you're about to see here in just a minute we will get back to that shortly. But I want to direct your attention high and to the left, ladies and gentlemen. We've got a surprise for you here today. This is the B-1 bomber from Dice Air Force Base. One pass left to right. They were able to sneak us into their mission here today. And ladies and gentlemen, here they come. Get your cameras out. Yes, sir. Hey, Crook One, this is Rob on the stand. How do you hear? Crook One, you hear Rob from the stand? Well, ladies and gentlemen, that is the B-1 bomber from the 345th Bomb Squadron stationed at Dice Air Force Base, Texas.
Me acompaña un invitado muy especial, la suboficial a cargo de estandarizaciones y evaluaciones